Welcome to the Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson, who wants to talk about and reveal what the United States government doesn't want you to know about UFOs and aliens right here in this country and around the globe. Russell has been following this material for over 50 years and will have guests who will tell their stories from around the world. Take down the number to call in, 888-565-1470, because Russell wants to hear your story. Our show also invites you to send your pictures and videos to UFO@amp2.tv so we can show them on our program at lightsinthenight.tv. Now, let's get to the Lights in the Night subject matter and hear what the government has tried to keep quiet for over 50 years. Again, get ready to call 888-565-1470 and watch on lightsinthenight.tv. Now, here's Russell with today's show.
Hi there, back again on Lights in the Night. Hey, Lights in the Night, that's a good title.
It is, isn't it?
But you,
I love it.
this lady, Sara, Sara, why did you name it Lights in the Night?
Well, I think that Lights in the Night kind of makes me think of UFOs. That's kind of what they are. So I thought it was a little clever.
It really is. It's catchy.
Thank you.
Right, great. So
Very
you did.
catchy.
Hopefully our listeners like it too.
Absolutely. So, listen, we had a good show last week.
We did.
You were there.
Yes, George.
We talked all about the Roswell crash.
George.
Yep.
And for those individuals who might have missed the show last week, I did a show last night with him on a conference call.
With George Green?
Yeah, last night for about an hour or so. And so if anybody wants that number, that's 559-726-1399. That's 559-726-1399. And there's a pin. The pin is 143153. 143-153.
Right on. Before we jump into our subject matter today, I just wanted to invite our listeners to join the conversation at lightsinthenight.tv. And we've got a chat room up and running on there. And we also want you guys to send us your pictures, videos, stories, anything you have relating to our subject matter to UFO@amp2.tv. And for our best submission, we're giving out a Starbucks gift card at the end of this month. So send us your best UFO and alien stories.
Hey, I like that. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So what are we talking about today, boss?
Oh, you directing the show.
Yes, she is.
I'm just sitting here. No, we have the hollow earth, the people who are from inside of the earth, and they want to give us information about all the people who are living inside of the earth.
What?
Yeah. And Billy, he has been around this industry for a long, long time. He's a colonel in the Air Force and all that. So this should be interesting.
Should be. It's hard to believe.
Now, he said, I told him we had half an hour. He said it's not long enough. But
It never is.
it's never a lot of information, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we have Billy with us? Hello? Nobody? The engineer? Blake?
Do we have Billy on the line? Nope, we don't. Okay.
No?
I guess we don't have him on the line right now. Maybe we're waiting on him to call in.
Okay, maybe there was, there's so many people calling in asking for directions. And as we begin the whole show and we get down the road, we want to bring some real sharp people to the microphones, like John Lear. Is Billy there? No. Like John Lear and people who know the industry and the astronauts. We want to get them on the air to talk about their experiences, the people who have landed on the moon. How about you? Anybody else you think? I want to talk about crop circles. I want to talk about Area 51.
Crop circles would be fabulous.
Right. Area 51.
Area 51, some more of that. And you can't get enough information about that ship up in Iceland that supposedly, as the caps are melting, you can see it.
You were telling me about that a little bit before we went on. That sounds...
I know, it's like fascinating. At a dinner party on Friday, it comes up, and the ship has been there since somewhere in the early part of the 1900s.
Right.
And now that the ice is melting, either from the energy from the ship itself or, our own doing, it's melting, and so you can see the top part of this ship. And apparently, if we Google it, there are photos of it. Crazy, right?
Was it like a recorded crash, or is it just like a kind of a phenomenon that it's there, or?
I'm not sure. That's why we'd have to have someone like David Miller on to
And also,
share with
for
us.
our listeners, we want to talk about what you guys want to hear about. So, along with your submissions and everything, get online and tell us what you want to hear, or call us and tell us what you want to hear, and we'd love to talk about that.
Right. I mean, I'm sure lots of people have had these experiences of lights in the sky, right? So, I mean, how about you, Russell? Have you ever seen a light in the sky?
A few times.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. A few times. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing with this, delving into this topic for last 2 or 3 decades.
I don't think we've talked about this before, but what got you into this, Russell?
Well, I used to do a radio show across the country on American radio networks. Is he there? No. And so anyway, this is some 20-some years ago, and I always had an interest in UFOs and abductions and all of that. And so I used to go to a lot of UFO conferences in Washington, D.C., and Baltimore, those places. And then I used to talk to all the people. And then when I started doing the radio show about I think it was 92, 93, 94, I used to have George Green. I used to have Stanton Friedman. He's real serious. And Bob Exler, a robotics expert, and all these people. So there are many people out there who have a lot of knowledge about alien abductions, aliens coming to this planet. And again, last night, if you want to hear the program I did last night, you can just dial it in. And that number is 559-726-1399. Again, 559-726-1399. And that PIN number, because it was a good show that George Green did last night.
What did you guys talk about last night? What was your topic?
Jesus. We talking about aliens. We talking about alien abductions. We talking Area 51. We talking about Roswell. It just went on and on and on. So
Did you hear anything new that you hadn't heard before about Roswell or Area 51?
Yeah, there were some new things, yeah. But let me give the PIN number to that number. It's 559-726-1399. And there's a PIN number you have to dial. It's 143-153 to listen to the call. And I think I stayed on about an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it's still archived. And it will be archived until about 9 p.m. tonight. And then they will probably change because that program runs Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday night, from 9 until 12 midnight. And so every night they have 500, 600, 700, 800 people listening to those calls. So on that particular circuit. Yeah, so I just want to give that out. The lady who runs that, she has a website. It's called, what's the Real Truth, whatever. I'll have to look it up.
Truth Talks?
No, it's the Real Truth Call 2.com. Yeah. So I think it's having a lot of problem with people. We have been giving out the fact that we will be doing this.
Yeah, our phone lines are all tied up right now.
That's probably why our guests can't get through.
And so we kind of, I guess I've done it the wrong way in terms of sharing so much information with so many people early on until we work out the IT parts of it and, the nuances. So everyone wants to say, I want to get on, I want to talk. And I'm waiting for the guests, but that's another subject matter.
All right, well, hopefully we can get
that's all right.
Billy on.
But basically, when you talk about alien, we're not just talking about Roswell, 1947. Like George Green says, there were 18 crashes prior to 1947. And that the aliens have been coming here for eons, centuries. As a matter of fact, he said the aliens have made us, that we are an experiment.
That's what George Green says.
Yes,
Yep.
a lot of people are saying that too.
Lots.
That they had put us together, and this was a bad experiment, if you will.
Really?
I read-
So we're
Well,
Frankenstein.
I read his free pamphlet,
Oh, you did?
and it was a bad experience because the one, they gave us choice,
But-
and in giving us choice, now they can't intervene because we have the choice.
Well, we do have choice, but they have choices too.
Right.
And that's part of the rule in the universe, that you have free choice. But anyway, so if they want to go to that website, it's www.nohoax.com.
Yeah, I think a little bit
Yeah,
of what
no
George
hope.
talked about with what you're saying, the choice and the will, is that they've just kind of evolved farther than we have.
Oh, big
To the point
time.
where they've,
Big
they've
time.
kind of evolved the evil out of their
Being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That handbook that it's available free on his site.
Yeah, so
That's what I was reading.
And that's-
It's interesting.
yeah, good information.
Yes.
He's been doing it for so many years. When I met him in '92, he had the American West Publishing Company, and he was saying at the time that he was getting all of his information from the Palladians, and they had were
And
down.
that's a specific kind of
Yes,
alien?
yes, yes. That's just one of hundreds of them.
Wow.
And so they were giving him a lot of he has a new group now that he's working with. And so they were giving him a lot of information that he wanted him to disseminate among us so that we could kind of catch up with what's really happening in the vastness of the universe. Because there are billions and billions and billions and billions of planets, and there are also billions and billions and billions of galaxies. So you got both. So, right? So so is that...
We're just getting past the note telling you guys to go to lightsinthenight.tv for your chat submissions and your questions rather than calling in. Right now, I guess we're...
Because our guests can't get through.
The guests can't get through. No, we did it wrong, but that's all right. It was my fault because I was giving out the number. On the call last night, they had something like 500, 600 people, I guess, and they wanted to be... Instead of giving them a conference call, because many of them across the country, they're so used to picking up the phone and listening to that information, right?
Right.
So you say, no, it's not on a conference call. It's on radio. It's on television. And download iHeartRadio and all that and go to WNN1470.com and you can listen to it. Some of them didn't get that, so what if they're so accustomed to calling in like they do with a business show.
Right.
So that's where we are.
But in this free pamphlet or download, there was talking a lot about the change that needs to happen here is individually with each person,
right,
changing their thought system and actually universally back to love. And then start groups of, they had numbers, I don't have them, but like start with 2 and then add 3 and then have 2 more. So they were very specific on numbers.
So is this from like
George Green's
information like that he's gotten from the Pleiades?
Yes.
I guess that he's...
Yeah, it's a hefty download. It's a hefty read.
That's
There's a lot
good.
of information
and there's
in
a lot
there.
of information there, yeah. So the other people who are supposed to be with us today, they're from the Hollow Earth Network. So if you Google the Hollow Earth Network, you'll see that's a big network.
And what exactly is that? That's people living in
Yeah.
the Hollow Earth?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've actually never, until today, when looking up our guest, I've never really heard anything about this before. Can you, briefly tell us a little bit
Briefly,
about the Hollow Earth?
Yeah. He is saying that he is from. They have sent him here from the inner part of the Earth. That there's whole civilization there, of aliens who are dealing with some issues and trying to save the planet, if you will. And so he's here to guide us and direct us, especially for ascension. They believe that very soon that there will be some people who will be capable of ascending, just taken up and taken to other planets in the universe. So
I saw a little bit about that on his website.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information on his website.
it's so much, it's so big.
It's kind of hard to navigate. There's almost
So
so much of it.
that's interesting. I have a question. So what you know of it, in this ascension process, do we just go poof or do we leave the body behind? Because George
That's a
Green,
great question.
but it is because George Green said last week, oh no, maybe it was that dinner party, and they were talking about one of the manuscripts left by, I think it was the one alien that survived.
You mean from the Roswell?
From the Roswell,
Uh-huh.
and that one could leave at any time and would if it all of a sudden meant harm to that being.
Of course.
And did, but left body behind.
Okay, if you want to see a movie that's 98% correct in terms of what we are talking about, in terms of the Roswell, it's a movie called Taken. It's a 13-hour series done by Steven Spielberg some 13 years ago. Now, if you really want to see that, you can always go to Amazon.com, and that whole 13-hour series is right there that you can order and watch it.
What's the subject matter of it?
Aliens.
Just all
Is it documentary or is it done like
No,
a
it's
movie?
It's a movie. It's a 13-hour movie.
Really?
You got to see it.
Got to.
No, it's a must see.
I will see it this weekend
It-
before we're on the show together next week.
It's really, I watched it several times, but the information that's in that program, in that 13-hour series done by Steven Spielberg.
Maybe it'll be good plane movies for me to watch.
Oh, what a great
Well,
idea.
yeah, if you've got 13 hours, fine.
Yeah.
She does, just about, yeah.
Right, so.
Yep, there-
No, it'll be awesome. It'll blow your mind. Now,
But don't ascend while you're on the plane, okay?
My co-passengers might not enjoy that.
I know.
disappear.
I know.
Lost.
They abduct
Sorry,
you.
Delta, if you're listening.
But anyway, it's a good movie, and it really explains how they came here, like you mentioned, that one of them was alive, four had died in that crash in Roswell, and one was alive, and I think they took one, they captured one, took him back to Holloman Air Force Base or somewhere, some of the specifics of that. But in the movie, it had that one entity who was a gray, had escaped and gone and changed. They can take any form, a dog or cat or a person,
Wow.
and he took the form of a person, and he lived and completed his mission because he was sent here to do some research. And each generation that came along, he stayed with, each generation for 4 or 5 generations. And it was just awesome movie. The concepts and the constructs in that movie was just mind-boggling. So
yeah, I hear that a lot, actually, what you're just talking about. People who, when you bring up UFOs and aliens, and I've had more than one person say to me that they think that they're an alien themselves, that they're not of this world.
Well, it could be because, here's another theory, quickly. It's just...
Enlighten us.
Yes, please.
I don't want to take the whole show, but anyway, what they say is that people being abducted, a lot of people are how can I say that nicely? Will have the DNA of the aliens.
I was going to say like a mixed breed.
It will be,
Of
yeah.
people who are chosen to be abducted, they're of
When they have children, those
Alien descent.
Yeah, they will be called crystal children or indigo children. These are the next people who will be taking over the world in terms of mentally, psychologically, socially. They be spiritual. They will be able to handle where we need to go for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50
Yeah,
years, 100
except for the
years.
crystal children. Because
Right.
I work with indigos, and actually this is the first time I've ever heard that they're of star descendants.
They are.
And-
According
Yeah.
to... Yeah, they're
And
mixed.
it's indigos.
They're
And
mixed.
so you have rainbow, you have crystal,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really interesting. But the crystal children were so super sensitive
Mhm.
that they almost couldn't, their vibration couldn't handle here. So they were that's how that big outspread of ADD, all the kids were OCD, and they medicated all of them. So they medicated them back into
chills.
like amnesia.
Well, if you see that picture, the one I just mentioned, taken, that it traces about 4 or 5 generations of kids, and it's
Wow.
and they show how the abilities are just way beyond anybody. See, the average person here on Earth, as we know them, know that person, they use what 10% of their abilities
Really?
or less.
Less,
Or
actually,
less.
yeah.
Somebody
Actually,
said
our brain
1%
is
or 2%.
well. It's
Tell
t-
people to go to law school.
what I know of is we use 2% of our brain. Those
Right.
who are avid meditators or pray
Mhm.
over 10 years, after 10 years, we're using 4%.
Okay, fine. So can you imagine?
Right.
So the capacity that we have, the potential and the possibility of doing great things with your mind, teleportation, all of that, telepathy, and all that. Most people are not able to use that right now because they're not trained to use those kind of potential possibilities of thinking, right? But we have the brain cells there, but they're not being used.
They're not activated.
They're not activated, yeah.
How do we get to that point?
Well, that's the thing. The government is using a lot of things in terms of teleportation and in terms of remote viewing. It's a lot, just kind of, a lot of secret studies are being done as we speak on a remote viewing. I mean, the government has a big project on that. I mean, even the hidden government of the United States, they're doing a great job. I mean, there's a thing called above top secret,
Yeah.
meaning that if you read, there's a book called by Timothy Good,
Yeah, I saw that you had that.
Okay,
material with you
right.
the other day.
What's it called?
Above Top Secret.
That's actually the title of the book.
Oh, yeah, that's above. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He is saying that coming out of Roswell, when Truman was president, is a group called the Majestic 12 that he put together, because they said, we're going to give you all the information on alien crashes and alien technology, but no one else can have it. Just you. Not even the president, not the senators, not the congressmen, no one else but this specific group has it, called Majestic 12. And people can address themselves to that if you want to call in and address that issue. So that group is, and there was a book that a guy just left, Colonel Corso. He was in charge of the project, and he has a book called After Roswell, if you ever want to read that book.
Okay.
And he just passed, and I was looking at some interviews that he did toward the end of his life, saying, yeah, the aliens are here, and I'm writing this book, and I'm about to leave, and da-da-da-da, and that I was in charge of the project for 50-some years.
Wow.
Yeah. So in that book, After Roswell, is a good, if the people really interested in understanding what we are talking about, that's an excellent book to get.
Wow.
That one's,
So,
yeah, that
along
sounds
with
great.
Taken. So,
Going back to just real quickly, the crystal children, the indigo children.
Mhm.
So did they use, I'm assuming, they use a larger portion of their brain than
there's
we do?
no doubt about it.
And so is that who's being studied, or can we learn from them to, like, how, I mean...
They're highly gifted. They're highly psychic. They can,
Yeah.
they do the bending of the spoons,
The whole 9 yards. Yeah.
telepathy.
Yeah, they are
very
go-
gifted.
They are going to be the people who will be taking the leaders of the next generation or so.
Wow.
Yeah. And not the rest of them. They can push them aside because they will be in charge of all these special gifts, if you will,
Of course.
in terms of mental capacity.
Yeah, well, they won't have to push them aside. They'll just say, think in their mind, step aside.
Well, yeah, it goes like that too.
part the seas.
Did you want to bring us up to speed on people who want to send something in and all
Oh,
that?
yeah, and of course. For our
Super.
listeners, if you want to get involved in our discussion, we'd love for you to go to lightsinthenight.tv. We have a chat room set up where you guys can interact or send us questions to answer.
Mhm.
And then, again, we're having a photo and story, just a submission contest here. We'd love to hear your stories with alien or UFO interactions or pictures or videos, anything really interesting you have. Send that to us at ufo@amp2.tv. And at the end of this month, we'll be picking the best submission and giving a little Starbucks gift card. And that's...
Yeah, and the submissions are important for us because there are people out there who may have some ideas about with whom should we be interviewing, right?
Right.
And there's
And
so
that's
many
what I
people.
said. We want to talk about what our listeners want to
And
hear. So.
there's some sharp people out there. And I'm looking at Stephen Greer here. He has the Disclosure Project. That's a big project.
The Disclosure Project.
Yeah.
What is that?
But if you Google it, what he has done, he has taken all the, how do you say it, the admirals and the generals and the people who are head of countries and all of that in charge of UFO projects in any country in the world, Germany, Australia, wherever, and he's bringing them all together because he's saying to the government of the United States and the governments of the world that we have this information, let's disseminate it among the people. The people are ready for it.
Oh, I watched a
Yeah.
documentary, or not a documentary actually, it was just a video.
Mhm.
And it was a summit
Mhm.
in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely.
I think it was on UFO TV or something.
Mhm.
It's on YouTube now, you can find it. And I don't know exactly what you search for, but maybe UFO Summit. And it involved world leaders from,
Mhm.
I think, 12 different countries. And actual world leaders talking about their UFO
Mhm.
projects and inquiries. And it's, basically, I don't know why we don't.
But it's their Disclosure Project, so anybody can Google that and see.
So this kind of reminds me of that. This
Right.
this summit. I don't know if you've watched it, but it was, one in particular that stuck out to me was in Belgium. That one of the world
Mhm.
they had a serious phase where there were a lot of UFOs.
Absolutely.
And he was giving fascinating stories, and this is one of the world leaders just openly talking about this. And I think we need
Nice.
that kind of open communication.
Wouldn't
here.
that be nice?
No, it's coming to the fore. It really is. I mean, I know we don't have much
We
time.
know we've got about a minute left.
About a minute left. Okay, then tell them next week. I will make sure that we have the person from the Hollow Earth with us,
Yeah.
and we're going to organize that efficiently, effectively, and make sure there are no glitches in that.
Of course.
Because
yeah,
I-
I'm sad I'm missing Billy. I really had some.
Yeah, because
I wanted to hear a little bit about.
you should hear the
Hollow
story.
Earth theory.
You-
I'll be sure to tune in from Turkey to listen. to
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
We're sending you on safe travels.
I know.
Okay, well, next week, that's the program as we see it at this point, okay?
And don't forget to send us your suggestions to UFO@amp2.tv. And thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah. And thank you, madam.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you for listening and watching The Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson. Today's show can be seen on lightsinthenight.tv. And remember to send your pictures and videos to UFO@amp2.tv. And perhaps they will be used on the show. Join us next week as we bring you more information on UFO sightings and aliens that your government doesn't want you to know about. Keep the information flowing, and we will see you next week on The Lights in the Night Show with Russell Johnson.